Yo, what's up? Bringing you that MLB Show 19. So a few weeks ago, we unlocked WILLIE MAYS, no money spent. And I said I would make a video pretty much describing our process into unlocking him, how we made our stubs, you know, what we grinded and all that stuff. So that's what we're going to do right here. Give you guys my tips. And hopefully this helps you guys out. If it does, you know, make sure you guys subscribe, drop a like on the video, all that stuff. Also, if you guys have any questions, you can leave a comment down below or even hit me up on Twitter at KPritz21. I feel like I know the most as far as like content goes, and I'm not just saying that. Like, I honestly feel like I know the most about the content and all that stuff. So if you guys need advice or anything like that, definitely willing to help you guys out. But just to show you the progress, you know, of no money spent, this is the team that we managed to get. I will say this year it has been the easiest to make stubs and build a really nice team. So you can take it as is, but we have a full 99 signature series team. We have some 99s on the bench. So I feel like we did pretty good this year. And then, you know, that's our rotation with some more 99s in there. But that's the type of team that we built, being no money spent. And we still have, you know, a decent amount of stubs right now. So let's just get right into it. I will say there is probably two important tips, you know, when starting off. The first one is to be patient. You know, I feel like that's the biggest tip right there. If you have stubs, that doesn't mean you have to spend stubs. You know, I have 270K. I'm not looking to spend them right now. And even when I was doing no money spent, you know, trying to unlock Willie, there was times where I had 500K stubs and I was being patient, waiting to buy certain players, certain live series players, because I knew at some point those prices would dip. So that goes into the second tip. You have to know when to buy and sell your players. So the time to buy is typically when new content drops. So for example, their signature series choice packs dropping tomorrow on Thursday. That would be a time to buy new cards because everyone is offloading their diamonds and trying to buy packs. And when signature series choice packs especially come out, prices in the market are normally really low. So that's when you want to go ahead and buy cards that you need because everyone is offloading. The time to sell would typically be the day before a content drop because that's when prices are the highest, especially when there is roster updates on Friday. You normally want to sell your cards on like Thursdays or Wednesdays because that is when prices are the highest. Normally on the weekend and Friday, prices dip. So to me, that's the second most important tip, knowing when to buy and sell. And those are the times to buy and sell. Buy on Fridays, Saturdays, maybe even Sundays. Sell on the weekdays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Now, how did we make our stubs? There's obviously a culmination of things. So the number one we'll say is the programs. You know, the programs were the number one way that we made stubs. Probably the second, third, fourth, and fifth inning program. And pretty much, you know, I've made videos on these, giving you guys my tips when we've completed these. Typically, I complete them, you know, the first or second day. You know, typically on Saturdays. They drop Fridays. I finish them on Saturdays. And we normally net around 200 to 250K. Sometimes even more, sometimes even less on the program bosses. So, like for this fifth inning program that just dropped, we got around like 190 for Lou Gehrig. So that was actually probably the cheapest we gotten out of them. But 190 is still pretty solid for a couple days of work. And afterwards, you know, we go ahead and buy all three of the bosses, get that voucher. So this is more of a method where, you know, you grind at the beginning, you sell, and then you buy back later. And then you just you continue that process. You continue that process because you're always going to be making stubs with this for the most part. Because like I said, I sold Gehrig right here for 190. I probably will get all three of them for 190, get another 30K for the next voucher, and then sixth inning program hits, we do that grind again. So the program ones are actually the biggest way to make stubs, especially quickly, and you can normally get like 200K in a day or so. So that is the number one thing, and like I said, I have videos describing how I grind, especially later in these programs, but that has been the number one factor. The second one we'll say is the moments. So the moments are really good because they give you a lot of XP and they give you a lot of stubs. So I'm someone that has pretty much done every single moment that's dropped in the game. I think there's a few that I've accidentally skipped But for the most part, we have done all of these moments, and there's definitely some really good ones, like these Sony partner ones. If you're no money spent, these cards are free, and for the most part, they're not bad. You know, all of these guys can definitely make your lineup. I think Wainwright's a solid starting pitcher. He's a signature series also, so you can't really go wrong with that. But if you do all these moments, I haven't done any of these ones, but if you do all these moments, you know, that XP adds up and all these stubs add up, and you definitely want to get these done. I know it's a big grind, and especially if you're maybe starting later, you know, I don't know if it's worth doing the first, second, or third, maybe even the fourth inning programs, but just to get the stubs and XP, definitely a big thing right there. And the XP is important because of the XP reward path. And this right here, this whole, you know, little program right here, this path gives you a lot of stubs, and it gives you a lot of good cards. Like these cards right here, some of the best in the game. Ichiro's amazing. You know, I still would start him over the players that I have. And Kershaw, Nolan Ryan, some of the best starting pitchers in the game. And you get these cards for free. So definitely recommend trying to grind this out. And that's why the moments are so big, because they give you a good amount of XP. And for the most part, the moments aren't really that difficult. So if you grind all the moments, you probably can get to at least like the silver tier. Like if you were to do all of them, I don't even know, because basically what I did was just do moments and a few play versus CPU games to do, you know, the program grinding, and obviously online. But I don't play as much online as people might think. You know, I think I've played like 100, around like 110 ranked season games. People play that in one season. I've played that all year so far, but that is definitely the best thing. And then, you know, every 100 tiers, you get one of these cards, and these are probably like the 5 best players at each position. Frank Thomas, still one of the best first basemen I've used. Morgan's a really solid second baseman. Gwynn's really good right there in the outfield. Duke Snyder's not bad in the outfield. And I think Brooks Robinson, I haven't really used him that much, but he's also solid, especially defensively. So the XP reward path and the moments, all that ties in together, because if you do this whole XP reward path, if you get up to diamond level 100, you get around, it definitely fluctuates, because like these cards right here, they're down to 5k right now, so it's not really that much, but you get at least 200k back in stubs, and that's pretty big right there. And getting 200k in stubs definitely gets you a lot to work with. So in my opinion, the XP reward path should be your main focus, and just doing things that give you XP. So like I said, the moments is definitely big. Going into collections, like most of these collections, they're pretty simple. They give you stubs or XP. I would recommend doing all of these that you can. Like these right here. You know, we're going to collect all 3 of these. Like I said, we'll get 30k back in stubs. 5k XP is kind of low, but all of that stuff adds up. You know, I haven't done any monthly flashbacks, but all of these, you know, you get XP, you get stubs. Some of them like these, you get some extra packs. So these collections, even if you don't plan on keeping players and stuff like that, I still would lock them in and try to do these, especially the creative player ones, because these ones are the easiest ones. You know, you just got to collect 3 and 5 players. And I don't know if that one was stubs or XP, but either way, you know, you want both. You want stubs and you want XP, because that adds to your level and your XP reward path. And like I said, that's the most important thing right there. So all of these collections, you know, you want to go ahead and do. And while we're here, let me actually get my goat skin, because I've had Willie Mays, but I never actually unlocked this skin right here. So that is, like I said, the 2 main things, you know, doing the programs and then doing the moments, which all of that ties into the XP reward path. Then you got gameplay. You know, Conquest is actually a decent way, you know, especially if you're doing the program grinding, you're going to end up doing these anyways. But like the US board right here, the Ty Cobb one, gives you a lot of XP early on. So if you're just starting, definitely would recommend doing this one, because there's a lot of XP in here and stubs. But in general, I would do all of these, because they give you XP, they give you stubs, and whenever you're playing games, you're getting additional stubs and XP too. So these are definitely really good to go ahead and do. And especially if you're no money spent, you know, you gotta grind a little bit. You know, you can't just get stuff without playing the game. You have to grind, and that's just how we manage to do stuff. So Conquest, good way for XP and stubs. Next we have events. You know, I'll go over the events really quick, because events are definitely really nice. You know, you grind early, you get whatever the exclusive card is, and then you sell him. That's that's the way to make stubs right there. And the best thing about events is that they're free entries, so you're not losing any stubs. For some people, it obviously takes longer to get whatever the cumulative wins is, but if you can stick through that grind, get whatever the amount of wins you need, selling these cards get you some extra stubs. So even if it's a card that is only worth 5k, 5k adds up, and that goes back to the first tip and being patient, just accumulating stubs and knowing when to buy and sell. So that's obviously a really good way to make stubs, is events. Battle Royale is also pretty good if you can end up going 12-0. You know, I don't think it's worth it if you can only get to 12 wins, because the live series, they're going for like 15 to 20k. Sometimes you get shafted, only get like a 5k player. But if you can get 12 wins a lot, it's definitely really nice, because like I said, stubs are stubs. So if you get 12, you're profiting throughout the run, and you definitely can get a good amount in return. But 12-0, which we did manage to do once, and that's pretty much how we got, you know, a really nice boost by selling that Willie McCovey, really helps right there. And that could be like a 200k profit in a Battle Royale run. But at some point, I think they're going to make 9-win rewards a diamond card, and that's when I feel like it's going to be even more worth it to go ahead and try doing Battle Royale, because you'll have a chance at getting 3 diamonds or 2 diamonds if you can at least get to 12 wins. So that's when BR is going to be a little bit more worth it. But if you are good at the game or decent at the game and can string up 12-win entries, then Battle Royale is obviously a good way to make some stubs. And then ranked seasons, actually a really solid way, because each season, you know, you pretty much get a free diamond if you get pennant race. And, you know, these are like 5k cards, but they're still solid cards. And then World Series, you get one of these diamonds. So I know a lot of people can't make World Series, but if you can make World Series, these guys typically go for 80 to 150k, maybe even more or less. You know, it depends when you make it and unlock the card. But if you can get to this level, if you can get to World Series, then you do get a nice diamond reward card. But the diamond doesn't really matter. It's just the XP along the way. 25,000 XP, 30,000 XP. That's 2.5 to 3 levels in the XP reward path. And it definitely helps if you can level up, because the XP reward path, especially after pretty much bronze 1 to 100, so like silver tier and up, each one is 10k XP per level. So getting stuff like these definitely make that a little bit quicker. See, like, I don't think I'm the best player, so I don't think I can give you guys gameplay tips, but you know, there's definitely some guys out there that, you know, really understand the game and can definitely give you guys hitting tips, pitching tips, if you guys are struggling to make it to World Series. But even if you can just make it to like Division Series or Wild Card, I would do it just to get the XP and stubs. And kind of the same with Battle Royale. Hopefully at some point, Championship Series, this becomes a diamond player, and then maybe they go down and make these like guaranteed gold players or something like that. So that would make it a little bit easier to get some more stubs and XP. But ranked seasons is another good way. So those are pretty much the ways to get XP and subs just by playing the game. And that's just like the general stuff, but it's how you play the game. You know, you gotta grind early for some of these cards, especially like events cards. If you get those cards early, you make profit. If you grind out the programs early, you make profit. And that's the most important thing right there. Like when new content drops, especially with events and programs, you want to grind those early if you want to maximize your stubs return. That's probably tip number 3. You know, grind early and grind efficiently for stubs. What do we got left? We went over the programs, XP reward path, collections, team affinity. I actually think this could be a good method too, especially if you want packs. I would exchange up to 30 program points, get the 4 show packs right here, and you get some stubs. You do get a decent return in stubs and some packs. I feel like you save in the long run, you know, especially if you're someone that opens a lot of packs, and then you get these additional players right here. And then if you go over and get like the 50 program points, you do get a solid diamond player. You know, not all of these guys are worth it, but I think all of them can be really, you know, they can help a team out pretty much. But if you go over 50, especially like these last 3 right here, like if you're trying to get 100 program points for each team, you definitely make a good amount of stubs and get a good amount of packs in return. So that is just a small tip. Like if you're trying to get packs, instead of buying it from the market, I would just do the team affinity exchanges. We were doing that for a while. Like for these Red Sox, I can easily do exchanges, get 2 show packs and 1,000 stubs. It's not really worth it that much because like this value right here, show packs are 1,500, so that's 4K pretty much, and we need to do 30. So 30 right there, a 20 and a 10. That one's where it's not really worth it because that exchange is probably like 6-7K. But you can do all 3 of these for around 10K or under, and that could get you the 50 program point diamond if you play 3 additional CPU games. So that's a very easy way to do it. It's 10K pretty much for a free diamond player. And if you want to get it that way, especially being no money spent, you know, those are free diamonds also. So team affinity is a good way if you want to do that. If you mess with March to October too, I should mention that. If you mess with March to October, gives you some more program points. Those aren't really that difficult. I would recommend just playing those on All-Star, getting free 40 points or so, and then doing, you know, an exchange to do that. But a March to October season takes, I feel like 6 to 10 hours, something like that. I wouldn't say they're really that worth it. You do have exchanges. You know, I see some people doing these. I don't really think they're worth it that much. You can profit from these, but the profit is not going to be anything crazy because right now silver players are pretty cheap. Same with gold players. You know, most of them only go for 1,000. So if you do profit, you might only get like 100 stubs in return, unless you get one of the gold players that are maybe expecting to go diamond, like a Trevor Story or Ryu. You know, players like that. That's the only time these ones are really worth it. So I guess that goes into the last thing, and that is investing and flipping in the market. Now this is something I never messed with because I don't really like investing or flipping the market. Like flipping the market to me is pretty boring. I don't like sitting around just buying and selling cards, you know, all day trying to make some stubs. But investing is definitely a big way, especially with live series players. So there is some content creators out there that make roster prediction videos. If I were you guys, I would check out, you know, as many as you can just to get a general idea of what people are saying. So, you know, like me looking at this right now, who would I say? Honestly, Jose Ramirez. You know, that would be a good card because he's starting to heat up. He probably could go diamond. So, you know, you gotta look at certain players to see if they have a chance to go up. I don't make these types of videos, but like I said, if you guys want any advice or tips, you can ask me and I'll give you guys my opinion on maybe players that could get upgraded or, you know, who won't get upgraded, because there is a lot of players here. I know a lot of people say like Trevor Story, he's kind of, he got some upgrade changes, but he also got downgraded too. Ryu's probably a high possibility. So like I said, people that make roster prediction videos, I would check them out, see what they're saying, and see, you know, who's a potential candidate to go diamond. Because if you stack up on these cards, you can make huge returns if you got the stubs to invest. Investments are also risky though, because you can lose a lot of stubs. I've actually lost, you know, a good amount of stubs with trying to mess around with like monthly award players. You know, I've definitely lost a good share here, probably like 300K, which is crazy because we still have 270K and we still did everything no money spent, and with opening like 50 to 70K worth of packs every single week. You know, because we had to do the headliner packs, give you guys that extra content. Packs, are they good? It really depends if you have that pack luck or not. You know, there's some people that pull a crazy amount of diamonds, you know, like every single week, and there's people that they don't really get anything. I feel like I'm one of the people that don't get anything, so I wouldn't really recommend opening up packs, especially if you're no money spent and trying to get certain cards. Like if you're trying to get certain cards, I would just outright pick them up and use them, and then if you like them, sell them. If not, you know, keep them. You know, you can do whatever you want at that point. But going back to the market, like I said, investment's a good way. If you are a patient person and want to flip, you can do that. I never flip because, like I said, to me it's just waste time. I'd rather just play the game and grind it out than sit around flipping cards and all that stuff. And then the last thing is keeping a track of your inventory. You know, definitely you can make a lot of stubs this way, and that's just selling off unnecessary cards. So pretty much every few days I go in my inventory and sell every card that I have as a duplicate. So pretty simple right here. You know, take your card, sell them for the highest buy now price, and get rid of them. You'll be surprised how many stubs you have just sitting around here, especially if you have duplicates. And I don't recommend quick selling any of these guys, or, you know, selling them for their sell now price. You always want to list them, because if you list them, you get your maximum return, and this is pretty much how you flip also. So just for an example, like if you wanted to flip cards, you know, you can buy this card right here, and just keep this in mind for like all the big cards. But you buy him for 6. You got to remember there's a 10% tax. You sell him, let's say for 45, you would get 40 back, and that's what, a 34 stub profit. But just keep that in mind with like bigger cards and maybe diamonds and stuff like that. So that's probably the last tip right there, unloading all your duplicates, because you're not going to need duplicates for anything, and you're not really going to exchange them for anything either. So like right here, Ottavino, definitely want to sell him. We'll get 1,000 stubs back, and that's pretty much what I've done, you know, throughout the whole year. Like I said, a few days a week, you know, I go ahead, check out my whole inventory, and sell every player that I don't need. Because what use do they have in my inventory if I'm not going to use them? And all of these stubs add up. You get a lot of stubs, especially if you open up a lot of packs throughout the year also. So that actually goes back to the team affinity really quick, because if you are doing exchanges for these, I recommend exchanging 74 rated players. That's the only cards you should exchange, is 74 rated players, because that has the best stub value per exchange rate or whatever it is. So 74 rated bronze players for these exchanges, and you can get all of these done for around 10K, which I think is pretty good for the value. And players like Britain is pretty solid. Raleigh Fingers is a really solid bullpen arm. So those are probably the 2 I would recommend doing. Maybe Rivero if you want a lefty in your bullpen. So yeah, I think that's it right there. I'm pretty sure we covered everything. And you know what you guys should be focusing on when trying to make some stubs. Like I said, the #1 thing for me was the XP reward path, because there's so much stub value that you get back in return from that. So definitely focus on that by doing moments. And then if you're playing online, events, definitely a good way. Ranked seasons, if you can make it to World Series, even better, because you get that extra diamond. If not, you know, just getting the XP throughout that is nice, because it adds into more stubs coming in from the XP reward path. If you're good at Battle Royale, that's definitely a good way. But the most important thing is that program grind. If you get it done, you know, they drop on Friday. If you get it done by the weekend, Saturday or Sunday, I know it's a huge grind, but if you get it done, easy 150, 200 plus K. And that's where you get all the stubs. You know, for us, we were no money spent. We got Willie Mays by the end of June, which I think was pretty good, because in 18, we were no money spent. We got all the immortals by like January, and then 17 we were no money spent. I think we got Pepe Alazar in like September or something like that. So this is definitely the easiest year to get stubs, and the easiest year to get a really good squad out there. But that's gonna do it for this one. So if this helped you out at all, make sure to drop a like on the video. If you guys have any questions, need any advice, hit me up. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm out.